Today we're going to compare this mint condition Neumann U87 with the assembly never opened. Even the original Neumann wax seal over the opening screw is still intact. And out of all the vintage 87s I've used, this is the best sounding one. And today we're going to compare that to what many consider to be the two best Neumann U87 clones. The Stam Audio 87i. This is the fourth iteration of Stam's 87 because Josh, the owner, is obsessed with getting the perfect 87 clone. So he had a Mark 1, 2, 3, and then finally about 3 years ago, he found his favorite sounding vintage Neumann U87. Maybe it was one exactly like this, and he decided to clone that and did the 87i and has been selling that ever since because he just feels like he can't beat that. That's the final iteration. And now I've been seeing all of these advertisements on Facebook for the Dachman 87i, and it claims the same, that it sounds just like a vintage Neumann 87. So we're going to be comparing the same take, totally dry, and then I'm going to do also with compression and a little reverb so you can hear exactly the same take with me holding all of the microphones very close together. I'm going to get it so all the capsules are perfectly lined up and they're right next to each other so we can really hear the difference between these microphones.
It's brought me back, a broken man, and you take me in once more. It's brought me back, a broken man, and you take me in once more. It's brought me back, a broken man, and you take me in once more. It's brought me back, a broken man, and you take me in once more. It's brought me back, a broken man, and you take me in once more. It's brought me back, a broken man, and you take me in once more.
I was blown away because I think you can very clearly save the $3,000 to buy a vintage Neumann U87 and just take a trip to Brazil and go to Carnival for the trip of a lifetime. And I think that's a way better way to spend that money because, to be honest, both of the microphones sounded really similar to this vintage 87, like crazy. I mean, if you told me that they were all vintage 87s, I would completely believe you. Now, my favorite was the Stam because it had a little bit more low end, and I really like that, especially for my voice. I like to have a little bit more low end on my voice, and I feel like it had more low end information, and the high end information was really similar. So that was my personal choice out of the two replicas, but to be honest, they were both really solid microphones, and it's amazing that you can get these microphones that sound essentially exactly like a vintage 87. They probably sound more similar to this vintage 87 than a lot of other vintage 87s are going to sound to another one, because I've actually used a lot of vintage 87s. They don't all sound exactly alike. I think we've modeled and compared to one of the best, and you have your answer. Go buy one of these microphones, whichever you choose, and make some great recordings.